Today on My Kitchen with Jake, we are over on the far west side of the state, near South Haven in Bangor, Michigan. We are going to be going to Mitchell's Patch of Blue to tour the third generation blueberry farm of Kyle Mitchell. Everybody knows great berries start with great water. So here along the fruit belt of Michigan, as weather comes across the lake, it's picking up fresh water and delivering it straight to their produce. Let's head out and go check out the berries.
So these have like a floral kind of flavor.
This is as cool as sampling wine. Having a bunch of wine samples, like different varieties of blueberry.
Okay, yeah, so it's pretty close to it. So yeah, it's just like super floral. So this is what they make the meat out of, and this is what I sell to the wineries and breweries. My name is Kyle Mitchell from Mitchell's Patch of Blue. I'm in charge of the day-to-day blueberry operations. You're sitting on, well, the farm itself is 70 acres, but of that, you're 23 acres of certified organic blueberries. And with that, they're heirloom blueberries. Many of them were planted back in the 60s. The earliest planting I have was 1953.
And who planted them?
My grandfather.
Your grandfather. This is a third generation, right?
So I'm third generation blueberry farmer on this property, but fourth generation farmer on this property, and sixth generation Michigan farmer overall.
No way.
Between both my mom and my dad's side. So this is Blu-ray, and like I said, real big berries that are on there.
Oh yeah, they are.
And they're like a sweet and sour, like, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain.
Oh my gosh, what? Okay, that's an incredible berry. That's not
Completely
like
different.
any blueberry
Yeah,
I've
it's
ever
completely
eaten.
different than the early blues. And then if we have Pembertons left, the Pembertons are really floral. So it tastes like you're like eating a flower.
This one has like, I don't even know how you describe that flavor. There's like a musk to it even almost, isn't it?
Yeah, as I said, every berry has different flavor profiles. So that's why it's usually one of the first things I ask somebody is, what are you gonna do with them? Are you gonna cook them down? Are you gonna bake them? Are you trying to store them? But yeah, this is my grandfather's favorite variety.
For good reason. So for those that don't know, in Michigan, when does the actual blueberry season start?
So we start around July 1st and we run until the first or second week of August, depending on how warm it is. For above 75, then the season's probably gonna be shorter because the berries are gonna ripen faster.
And you're telling me about the different variety of berries, like your drink berries. Do those just have a couple of weeks in that season where they specifically are in season, right?
Yep, I got the meat hall in Bangor put in his order like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's like, because I had berries, we started coming out, but he'd already said, yeah, I'm gonna wait for the Pembertons because they have a particular flavor. Yeah, well, they have each berry has a different flavor. So like early blues are our very first variety. They're sweet, and they get sweeter the longer they stay on the bush. But when they first start out, they're really tart and just kind of bad. So that first, it's just like, they're just not quite ripe yet. The beginning of the season is that race, who has the berry the first, because everybody's waiting for blueberries.
It makes enough sense.
So we have one row of early blues that gets us out. So you pickers that want to come out early, or if we just want to have pre-sale berries available, we're usually one of the first ones on the market. Yeah. So these are jerseys, and these will get candy sweet kind of later on.
Yeah, they're really tasty even now though.
Yeah, it's a good tasting berry. It's hard, and you can see it gets real branchy. So hand pickers don't like it either because you gotta go search for the berries everywhere. And the berries stay about that size, so it's not like a super big berry.
Yeah, but they're so bright blue. And how do you harvest?
We have three different options. One is by hand, so you can either bring in pickers and you harvest it by hand. We have mechanical harvesting, so we drive a machine over the bush, and it's got a set of beaters inside, and all they're trying to do is shake the bush.
Okay.
So they shake the bush, and the berries fall down onto a false floor, and then that's graduated down to conveyor belts. So they roll down there to conveyor belts and then shoot the berries to the back of the machine that's driving over it. And then they'll go into lugs, and then you stack your lugs in the back.
Okay.
So that's what in 1972, my grandfather spent $20,000 and bought an over-the-bush mechanical harvester. This was when the first year it came available, so he was one of the first farmers. And then with that came a blower and inspection table.
Sure.
My grandmother wasn't very happy. Put it in perspective, $20,000, 1972, he bought the equipment. My dad bought his Chevelle brand new in 1974 for $3,500.
Oh yeah, $20,000 back then was a
Yes,
lot.
yeah.
Now, does that damage the berries more than hand picking?
The new ones, no, so there's been a lot of research. So yeah, it's gonna cause more bruising. So every time the berry makes an impact, it will cause a bruise that will then reduce the shelf life of the berry.
Right.
Now the other way we pick is with the hand shaker. So hand shaking is what evolved into mechanical harvesting. So what I have is it's a wand that you hold in your hand, and it's got a motor with a shaft with a counterweight. So instead of just shaking, it kind of rolls a little bit, which is the same as if you're picking berries. So you roll the berries off. Yeah. Kind of the same. It's called a blueberry stripper. It's from the 1960s. So you can go through and you basically vibrate the berries off. And so that's a way to get the berries off faster without all the damage of the mechanical harvester. But you still have to clean them because you're going to have green berries, you're going to have sticks and twigs.
So tell me about the process of that, because that was a really fascinating lineup. So it's coming off in the lugs, which is the crate you're lugging the actual berries around in,
yes,
right?
Yep.
And then you have a big shelf that you're putting them on with fans.
Yep. So that's for it's kind of triple purpose. So if you're picking berries when it's 100 degrees out, they're going to be soft because you're handling them, and
they're lightly cooked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, so if you pick them and they have field heat, you want to get them cooled as fast as possible. Now, refrigerators are not designed to cool food, they're designed to keep cold food cold. I don't have any blast chillers, so that's why I have fans. So I want to try to bring those down as low as of temperature as possible, or closer to 41 that I can, because that's what we store, 41 to 45 degrees. And I want to do that as fast as possible, and then that way the berries are no longer cooking. Yeah. And then we can handle them without them getting all soft.
And then from there?
Yep, they'll goes to a tilt table. So berries are round, so if they're a good berry, they'll roll. If it's a smash berry, if it's a cluster full of unripe and ripe, they're going to stay on the top portion of the belt, which goes to a discharge chute. All the other good berries roll down, and they continue on to the next inspection belt. Okay. Which then you're looking for what's left. So anything that didn't get blown out or didn't get weeded out with not rolling. So now you're looking for any of those bad berries that have blemishes on them. Maybe they're unripe and they made it all the way through, or maybe it's got a bird peck out of the side of it.
So as it's going down the conveyor belt, you also have fingers that are like little plastic, and the berries are going under them. I think I saw 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, I've got 3 of those set up. Those are just an invention of my own. My mother does bulk canvas and upholstery, and so that's clear vinyl. And so essentially that's just an extra hand. So if it can't go through that little, because I mean your berries are pretty delicate, so if there is one that's compromised but it looks whole, you touch it with your finger and it flattens out. Yeah. So if it can't make it through the small clear vinyl fingers, then we know that's a bad berry and we pull it out.
Has this farm always been organic?
It has not. We started transitioning 2 acres in 2014, and then we certified organic in 2021.
Okay. And what does that mean exactly?
So that means that all of the inputs that we put out on the farm, none of them are man-made. So it's all naturally occurring products. The plants don't have any root hairs. The roots are only about 18 inches long, at max length, and then there's no hair, so they can't uptake the nutrients. So they require that symbiotic relationship with the mycorrhizae fungi. The fungi send the nutrients up that the plant requires, and the plant sends plant sugars down to the fungi, and they have that symbiotic relationship.
Very interesting.
And then I come through and tear it all up. But so with that, I've been thinking about different ways of how can I replenish that, and through research and talks with MSU and how does this all work, what I found is I can actually create essentially a mycorrhizae tea. So if I'm going to come through and rototill, I can add a tank onto that contraption that I have that essentially I'll make a mycorrhizae tea and drip that back into the soil. So I'll come through till, it'll do what it's supposed to do, and then I can put bacteria back into it to help replenish that. Yeah, kind of like a Band-Aid going right back over what I tore up. So I can do what I need to do, and I can repair it at the same time. So with farming, a lot of it's a reaction. This is not you can be preemptive, but you don't know if you need to be preemptive. Right. I could go out and spray inputs on here for pests and for fungus every single week, or I can do it once or twice a season. I think over the last 3 years, I think I've only applied inputs out on the farm maybe a total of 8 times.
Okay.
And that's just because I've been trying to figure out, do we really need to spray products out here? Can I clean till and make sure the grass is clean and make sure the plant is pruned properly?
And get the same outcome.
Yeah, if your plant is too big, you're going to provide a very good nesting spot for your pests to come through, and then you have softer berries.
Right. So as far as contamination, what things cause contamination here in Mitchell's Patch of Blue?
So harvesting wise, birds are usually our big concern.
Yeah.
Because the birds will land into the bush. They can defecate while they're sitting on the bush. They can fly overhead and defecate. So with that sense, you just want to scout your field, and then you want to isolate that area. We're fortunate though, because our crop is off the ground. If we were growing carrots or something that was growing along the bottom, then deer and rabbits and coyotes and random people we find, like all those people could be contaminant issues. You could have the best chef in the world and the best wait staff, and if you get contaminated product in the back door, nobody's going to come to your restaurant.
Exactly.
And you're probably going to get sued, and you probably won't be able to keep your door. So I mean, you can set yourself up for success, but if you're bringing in trash or bad products or contaminated products, there's not much you can do there.
If people at home want to get Mitchell Patch of Blue blueberries or try products made with Mitchell's Patch of Blue blueberries, where should they go?
So they can check our website, so it's mitchellspatchofblue.com, or our Facebook page, which is just Facebook.com/Mitchell's Patch of Blue. If you're in the Kalamazoo area, we have 81 pounds we're packaging up to go to Sawal's Health Foods.
Cool.
Yeah, if you're in this area, you can come out to the farm and pick up directly from us.
mitchellspatchofblue.com.
Correct, and that'll tell you everywhere that we're at.
So we've seen now how you go from the blueberry field to the blueberry container. On the next episode, watch us go from blueberry to blueberry pie right here in the field.